Sister Hong, this might be the hottest name of the day, describing a truly shocking story coming out of China. Warning, you shouldn't watch the video while eating or with the volume up in a room full of children because the plot is absolutely bizarre. Recently, authorities in Nanjing, China have criminally detained a cross-dressing individual known by the nickname Sister Hong, accused of secretly recording and distributing explicit videos of nearly 1,700 men online for profit. What's strange is that among these 1,700 men, some of them already knew that Sister Hong was biologically male, but they still kept coming back regularly and engaged in all sorts of sexual activities. Some men were seen screaming loudly to the sound of saxophone music. Some engaged in role-playing with swords, others even went to Sister Hong's apartment to mine for gold. Even more surprising is that some of these men were incredibly handsome, muscular male gods with six-packs, guys that many women would love to date. Yet, somehow, they too were on this list. This is exactly why the internet community worldwide has been absolutely losing it over the past 2 days. Nobody seems to care anymore about US tax policy updates. Everyone is asking, what's the point of having all that money when the men in the world's second richest country are suffering like this? Let's put aside those with unique sexual preferences for a moment. What about the straight men? Those who knew full well that Sister Hong was a man and still kept going back to her again and again. The answer lies in supply and demand. If you were to use a US context to judge the young Chinese men in this story, it'd be completely unfair. The social dynamics in US are vastly different from those in China. Here, the gender ratio is more balanced, so guys can be picky. If you don't like one girl, there are others. Life is long, women are plenty. Why stress? But now imagine, China has 30 million men facing the real possibility of never getting married. So 1,700 men diving into the same feeding trough like this. Honestly, it's not that surprising. In fact, it's a tiny number compared to the 30 million still out there, still single. This imbalance is exactly why Chinese women are so highly priced these days. The competition to get married in China is fiercer than any college entrance exam. To even be considered as a husband, a man must meet the following basic requirements: be from the city, own a house, own a car, be educated, have a high-paying job, be tall, handsome, and muscular. Only then can he pass the first round of elimination. Just to start getting to know a woman and see if they're compatible. Because of this extreme level of competition, Chinese men live inside a metaphorical and sometimes literal box. After work, they go home, lock the door, and do everything online. Life becomes entirely virtual, nothing feels real anymore. They barely interact with people in real life, they're emotionally starved. Most of the women they meet are online. They rarely get the chance to hold hands, take a girl on a date, or just talk. Their income is low. Jobs are unstable. The future is uncertain. But the worst part is that Chinese men are not allowed to show weakness. They must always appear strong. They have no one to open up to, no one to talk to, no one to share their feelings with. That's exactly why a cross-dressing person like Sister Hong was able to win over even the most handsome, muscular male gods. It's all because the cost was so low, and the emotional return was so high. Sometimes, all it took was a watermelon or a bottle of cooking oil. Turn the chance to talk to a girl, to feel heard, to feel understood, to be invited into a woman's home, to lie in bed with her. For guys in the US who have more than enough options, this may sound incomprehensible. So, why did they keep going back, even after knowing she was a man? Only someone who has experienced years of emotional deprivation could truly understand the phrase, "A half of bread is better than no bread." It's a suffering not unlike prison, and I mean that literally. In prison, there are many straight men with no issues with their sexuality. But when physical needs go unmet for too long, they end up turning to their cellmates. That's normal. That's human nature. That's where the saying comes from. Drop the soap and you're done. In that kind of environment, men don't need a woman, they just need a hole. We in the US always think we need a hot girl, long legs, educated, well-behaved. But that's only because we have so many choices. When those choices disappear, the bar for a wife drops dramatically. From she's beautiful, I like her, to fine, at least she's a girl. A while later, even ugly girls become okay, eventually when there's no one left. You don't even care anymore. All you want is a hole. It's all driven by supply and demand, nothing complicated about it. So when even the most handsome, muscle-bound Chinese men end up turning to Sister Hong, it really isn't that strange, and don't forget. There's something fascinating about human beings, the irrationality of the brain. And sex is the most irrational thing of all. Sexual behavior runs on instinct, not logic. But the problem is, when we see videos of Sister Hong kissing someone, we tend to judge it logically. That's why it seems so disgusting. Try watching it while eating. You probably won't be able to take another bite. But science has proven over and over again, all it takes is a visual stimulus to awaken male sexual desire. Just looking at a sexy photo of a girl is enough to arouse men. No need for touch, smell, or sound, and Sister Hong did just that. She hit both the visual and auditory triggers. She sent sweet, emotional texts, dressed like a real girl. Long hair, dresses, even her voice was incredibly seductive. That's how she completely convinced all those muscle-bound men. They were overpowered by instinct, not because they were weak or immoral, but because they couldn't fight their natural impulses. And honestly, even kings and emperors couldn't resist theirs. So how could we, regular people, possibly win that battle? Even young Gai Fei, a famous beauty from Chinese history, was said to have body odor, but the emperor couldn't leave her. So who's Sister Hong compared to that? In a society where sex has become a luxury and male instincts are constantly suppressed, where men are forced to bottle everything up and live in a virtual shell, is it really so shocking that they seek out a fake woman just to experience something real? This is the real wake-up call about economic development. China may have become one of the world's richest countries, with robots, AI, and cutting-edge technology, but that deep-rooted human need, the need for connection, affection, and intimacy, remains deeply unfulfilled for millions of its men.